If you'd like to use the audiolingual method in your classes, or you'd like to pass your university or teacher training tests, this is the very video you need to watch to the end. In this video, we're going to talk about what is the audiolingual method? What are the principles of the audiolingual method? What is the theory of language in the audiolingual method? What is the theory of learning in the audiolingual method? What are the objectives and syllabus of the audiolingual method? What are the teaching and learning techniques used in the audiolingual method? What are the teaching roles in the audiolingual method? What are the learner roles in the audiolingual method? What is the role of instructional materials in the audiolingual method? The audiolingual method. When the United States entered World War II, language teaching in the country underwent a major transformation. The government needed individuals who could speak German, French, Italian, Chinese, Japanese, Malay, and other languages fluently to work as interpreters, code room assistants, and translators. That's why the Army Specialized Training Program was born in 1942, with 55 American universities involved by the start of 1943. This initiative not only helped the war effort, but also paved the way for language education in the U.S. Leonard Bloomfield was a key figure in the development of this method. It is also called the Army method or the Michigan method. The audiolingual method had a familiar ring to the British oral approach, but they evolved separately. The American method stood out with its close ties to structural linguistics in the U.S. The audiolingual method is a modified direct method approach, a reading-based approach or a reading-oral approach used between the two world wars. The principles of the audiolingual method. It was developed to enable learners to achieve mastery of a foreign language effectively and efficiently. It focused on what speakers say and analyzed them according to different levels of structural organization. The elements of language are phonies, morphemes, words, structures, and sentences. Elements in a language are thought of as being linearly produced in a rule-governed, structured way. The theory of language in the audiolingual method. Language samples described at any structural level of description, phonetic, phonemic, morphological, etc. Phonemic systems lead to morphemic systems, leading to higher-level systems of phrases, clauses, and sentences. The primary medium of language is oral. Speech is language. Language is primarily what is spoken and only secondarily what is written. A language is a set of habits. We should teach the language, not about the language. A language is what its native speakers say, not what someone thinks they should say. The theory of learning in the audiolingual method. The audiolingual method is based on behaviorism. The behaviorists view humans as organisms with an incredible range of behaviors. But what makes these behaviors happen? It all comes down to three key factors: a stimulus that prompts a response, the response itself, and reinforcement that either encourages or discourages future repetition. The psychological foundations of audiolingualism. Mastering a foreign language is all about forming good habits. Correct responses, not mistakes, are the key to success. By memorizing dialogues and practicing pattern drills, you'll minimize errors and maximize your chances of success. Language is all about verbal behavior, and by inducing students to follow suit, they can learn to speak fluently and confidently. Maximize your language learning potential by hearing the target language before reading it. Spoken presentation enhances retention. The audiolingual method discovers the power of analogy in language learning. Unlike analysis, analogy allows for generalization and discrimination, leading to a deeper understanding of language. By practicing patterns in various contexts, learners perceive the analogies involved. Drills reinforce correct analogies, making grammar teaching inductive and effective. To truly understand a language, one must immerse oneself in its cultural context. Language teaching must include cultural education to grasp the meanings behind words fully. The objectives of the audiolingual method. The short-range objectives of the ALM include training in listening comprehension, accurate pronunciation, recognition of speech symbols as graphic signs on the printed page, and the ability to reproduce these symbols in writing. So, the long-range objectives of the ALM are the language the students use must be the language the same as that of the native speakers. There must be some knowledge of a second language as it is possessed by a true bilingual. The syllabus of the audiolingual method. The audiolingual method is a linguistic or structure-based approach to language teaching. It is a lexical syllabus of basic vocabulary items, usually specified in advance. The language skills are taught in the order of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The learner should start with listening and watching to learn the language. They should recognize and remember words before trying to use them. Once they know the basics, they can focus on learning more words. It's important to be accurate before trying to speak fluently. Types of learning and teaching activities in the audiolingual method. Dialogues and drills form the basis of audiolingual classroom practices. Brooks' typology of drills in the audiolingual method: repetition, inflection, replacement, restatement, completion, transposition, expansion, contraction, transformation, integration, rejoinder, restoration. Watch our other video to learn about these activities in detail. Learner roles in the audiolingual method. As organisms that can be directed by skilled training techniques to produce correct responses. Learners play a reactive role by responding to stimuli. They have little control over the content, pace, or learning style. They are not encouraged to initiate interaction because this may lead to mistakes. By listening to the teacher, imitating accurately, and responding to and performing controlled tasks, they learn a new form of verbal behavior. Teacher roles in the audiolingual method. The teacher's role is central and active. The teacher models the target language. He controls the direction and pace of learning and monitors and corrects the learner's performance. The teacher must keep the learners attentive by varying drills and tasks and choosing relevant situations to practice structures. A teacher using the audiolingual method should know when and how to introduce, sustain, and harmonize the learning of the 4 skills in this order. Teach spoken language in dialogue form. Direct the choral response by all or parts of the class. Teach the use of structure through pattern practice. Guide the student in choosing and learning vocabulary. Show how words relate to meaning in target language. Get the individual student to talk. Word trials by the student in such a way that learning is reinforced. Teach a short story and other literary forms. Establish and maintain a cultural island. Formalize on the first day the rules according to which the language class is to be conducted and enforce them. The role of instructional materials in the audiolingual method. Materials in the audiolingual method assist the teacher in developing language mastery in the learner. They are primarily teacher-oriented. A student textbook is often not used in the elementary phases of the course. Exposure to die-printed words is not considered desirable because it diverts attention from the oral input. A teacher's book contains the structured sequence of lessons to be followed and the dialogues, drills, and other practice activities. Textbooks provide the texts of dialogues and cues needed for drills and exercises. The class procedure in the audiolingual method. The teacher introduces a new dialogue. The teacher only speaks the language being taught in class. They use actions, pictures, or real objects to help students understand. The teacher shows how to speak the dialogue 2 times. She also shows the right answers for the exercises. Sometimes she helps students say the words correctly by showing them how to say them in the language they are learning. The students repeat each line of the new conversation many times. The students had trouble with one part of the conversation. The teacher helped them by using a special technique called a backward build-up drill. The teacher starts a drill where every student greets another student. The teacher uses drills where one word or many words are replaced. The teacher says "very good" when the students answer right. The teacher talks and shows pictures to help students understand. The teacher does transformation drills where the students change things and ask questions. The teacher asks questions quickly to the students who can handle them. The teacher helps the students by giving hints, asking them questions, smiling at them to show support, and showing them pictures one by one. The dialogue has new words. There are not many words. Students don't learn grammar rules directly. Instead, they learn by practicing examples and exercises. The teacher compares the target language with the student's native language to find out where they might have difficulty. The teacher writes the conversation on the board at the end of the week. The students do a little bit of writing practice with the conversation and sentences. Watch our other video to learn about the merits and demerits of the audiolingual method.